Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Detroit in Black and White, our Friday evening edition. You have the two amigos on here tonight. You have Jim Nardoni, the former chief of police for the Trenton Police Department. Good evening, Jim.
Good evening.
You also have Mr. 1213, Janice Saluk, and whoever else is getting ready to join us on Detroit Black and White. You have myself, Vanessa Moss. Tonight is your listen, every night is your show. If you are watching, you know what we want you to do. We want you to hit that like, subscribe, and share. We want you to hit that like button. You can also say you dislike it, but we want you to like it. We would like for you to say you like it. Subscribe and share. You can catch us on all social media platforms, and you can tell all your friends about Detroit Black and White. Listen up, listen up. The other thing we want you to do is not only join in the comment section, you could use your cell phone. You could use your cell phone, go to that camera, and join us. You can join us by audio, or you can do video as well, visual. So, whatever it is, whatever's your pleasure, we want you to oblige and join us in Detroit Black and White this evening. Okay, Jim. Oh, well, one more thing, because I did not do this the other day. We always have to give a shout out to Lady T. Lady T keeps it going. Thank you so much, Lady T. If you're joining in the comment section, make sure you tell our Lady T, thank you, thank you, thank you. And tomorrow, the four of us will be together. But Jim and I are holding it down tonight. Okay, Jim, you want to set it off?
And Mr. 1213 made a comment. He made a clarification on something he said on Wednesday. Thank you for that. And hi, Jan, and hi, everybody else that's watching. We're family here, right? And I want people to know that. Vanessa and I talked about a little bit earlier tonight. What you say matters. Detroit in Black and White, where your voice counts, all right? It may not count on some other podcasts. It might not count on some other shows. It may not be important to some people that are, trying to convince you to listen to them and believe what they believe. We're not going to tell you what you need to believe. We're going to share facts with you, and we want you to share facts with us. And we're a family. We may not be a huge family, but we're still a family, and we appreciate each and every one of you. So I'm going to start with this.
Oh, 1 minute, Jim. I put a pin in it right now. You will be surprised at how people are watching the show, and they may not identify themselves. Two people today, and actually I was supposed to, I'm going to do that in a minute. Two people, well, one yesterday, one today. I walk in the court. I'm not going to say what courthouse I was in. One person said, I love the show. I'm such and such. And I was like, oh my goodness, I had no idea that you watched the show. He said, keep up the good work. Today, I ran into someone, and we talk all the time. And today he revealed who he was. He says he watches the show on a regular basis. I was like, I didn't know that. Yeah, because I don't use my name. And so we have a lot of family members out there. Some of them don't want to identify themselves. Some of them don't even join in the comment section. But people are watching Detroit in Black and White. And that's why we say that this show matters, because you guys make the difference. Jill, Karen Winston, you guys make the difference. Mr. 1213, G Money Hollywood, Dewayla, Tracy Huff, Stephanie. We have so many regulars. We even have new people that watch the show. We want your comments. We want to hear your voice. Okay, go ahead, Jim. Set it off.
And my friend Jan from down in Brownstown. Hey, Jan. And Karen C. You said, I think you mentioned, and Jill Sheridan from the Southland.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. 123. Okay, I want to talk about this, and I'm, I'm amazed, I guess, is kind of the words that I would use. I am not here to indict anybody. That's not my role. Miss Sheila. Hey, Miss Sheila, good evening to you. I'm not here to indict anybody. I want to know what everybody's thoughts are on this. It's been reported, hey, Greg Jordan, good to see you, my old friend, my old workout buddy. There's up to 9 billion with a B, has been reported, up to $9 billion in fraud in Minnesota. And what we've learned this week is 700 million, that's a lot of money, was flown out of the Minneapolis airport, arrived in Dubai with multiple couriers. 136 billion was flown out of an airport just 3 hours from here, the John Glenn Airport in Columbus, Ohio. I guess there's a Somalian population in the Columbus area. 136 $136 million.
Yeah.
Right? It's a lot of money. The kicker is this. The people that sent this money are not hiding the money. They put it in suitcases. It went through TSA and it went on to Europe and then on to Dubai, and then they lost the money there. So we're talking about probably billions of dollars. $1.7 billion was wired from the state of Minnesota to Somalia. That's more than the government's budget for a year in Somalia. 1.7 billion was wired. So they weren't hiding. They went to wherever, whatever that is, Express, what is that? Western or however.
You're talking about Western, is it
Union?
Express? But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they wired it, yeah.
However they wired it, but $1.7 billion was wired. And you know that somebody in Minnesota said this. They wouldn't say who said it, but they said the largest funder of Al-Shabaab, who is affiliated with Al-Qaeda, is the Minnesota taxpayer. So there's a bigger question here. Where did the money come from? Did anybody pay taxes on it? And how come the U.S. government turned a blind eye to this?
Western Union, see? Thanks, fam, for helping us out. Go ahead.
What does everybody think? Why did the United States government allow this to happen through Minnesota, through Ohio, through Atlanta, through all these places? Greg's right. It's going to terrorist organizations. So your tax dollars in Minnesota, probably federal tax dollars, are ending up in the hands of people that want to cause harm, not just to our country, but to our military overseas. You know, we're funding bombs. We're funding airplanes. We're funding small arms to kill people that wear a patch that says United States of America on it.
Go ahead, Jim.
No, I'm just baffled by it. I just don't understand.
Well, you took the words. I'm baffled because here's the tea. If my tail, I'm going to the airport tomorrow. If my tail go to the airport and I got 50 grand in my suitcase, hey sis, what's up with that? Okay. How in the heck were they able to? They were flying this money like it was up, like you put your clothes in your suitcase. They put the money in the suitcases. They put it in their luggage.
And told them and declared it.
Yeah. I got this money. I got $1 million in my case. And they said, okay, carry on, go on. And the previous administration was aware and they did nothing. And what it says to me is, what happened to administrations before that? Because this is not no isolated situation. This is the situation that's come to light to us today, right? Because for whatever reasons, okay? But this is ridiculous. And this is the thing. You have, what's his name? Mr. Waltz?
Yeah, Tim Walz. Vice President Tim Walz.
President Tim, get out of here. And you have Tim Walz and you have Keith Ellison, who's from Michigan, right? They like, listen, there's nothing wrong going on here. Now you have Tim Walz who says, I'm not even running for re-election anymore. And I think it's because this whole thing is stinking to high heaven. But my question is always, okay, yeah, it happened with the former administration, but what happened before that administration? And what happened before that? We sit here all the time and talk about how our tax dollars it's like money just being thrown out the window for everything else but us. And you have people who are taking this money, putting it in a suitcase. They're not trying to hide it. They never, they declared it. And they've gone on about their business. What the hell? What the whole hell? So I know some people will say, yeah, that's the whole thing about the Somalians in Minnesota. The thing is, the Somalian immigrants, not illegal immigrants. So I'm saying this because there are going to be some people who automatically will buy in and say, "Oh, these who are illegal immigrants, see, that's why they should need to get out of here." No, our issue is you want a suitcase? Me too, D.
Thanks, Steve.
I want a suitcase full of money too. But how is it that they can get away with breaking the law? Because that's what they're doing. How can they get away with taking our money, sending it to God knows where? I think we read it was Dubai and where else, Jim? Somalia, right?
It ended up. They believe it ended up in Somalia.
Yes, Somalia.
Went through Europe into Dubai,
and we can't get no love here. So what do you guys have to say in the comment section? What do you have to say here? Look, I'm asking you guys to use your camera, use this link, and come on and join in on the conversation.
So I can give you a little insight. First out, D. Hughes says she wants a suitcase, and Kamala vetted them. Miss Sheila, just like drugs, I want to hit on Miss Sheila. Just like drugs coming to the U.S., the same who's allowing the money to be stolen. Paper money doesn't set off scanners. Well, we're going to talk about this. How can this happen, Karen C? And D also said you're vice presidential candidate and Kamala Harris's pick. I'm not one. I don't really tell a lot of police stories. When I was a young policeman, the old timers would come in and they would tell all the stories, and I thought nothing was more boring than some old cop telling you a story about what happened 30 years ago. But I'm going to tell you a story about what happened 30 years ago and the difference that Miss Sheila and Mr. 1213 and some of the others are noticing. So I was involved in a federal unit. I don't want to be too specific. It was a DEA, but there was groups that focused on all kinds of different things. But there were teams that focused on the airport. And I don't want to be again, not too specific, but the DEA and the Secret Service and the Border Patrol and the TSA, all these people intercept people that are moving money, as you mentioned earlier, Vanessa. And I was not in that group, but I was attached to that group. But here's what happens. That money was, as a couple people noted, that was unclaimed money. All right. That was money that people were smuggling from Miami to Detroit to Brussels to Colombia, wherever they were smuggling it to. So at that time, it's a long time ago, they would seize the money and they would have to prove what the intention of the money was. Right. So if you said, hey, I took $25,000 through, but I'm going to buy a Porsche in Miami. And here's my contact. I took it out of NBD or I took it out of Citizens Bank on this date. Here's my paperwork. Here's $25,000 withdrawal from NBD. I'm going back to everybody, National Bank of Detroit. And it came out of my bank account and it's going to exotic cars in Miami, Florida. Well, then that guy would be allowed to take his money and move on, right? But we're not talking about people that didn't declare the money. We're talking about people that told the government that they were moving this money overseas. We're talking about people that Western Union, $1.7 billion, and nobody said, who paid the taxes on this cash? Where did this money come from? How did you get $20 million to put in a suitcase to send overseas? I mean, we know it's done. We know it's done all over the world. People come here from South America and Mexico, and they leave families behind. And there's nothing wrong with sending money back to your family.
Right.
But not $20 million, from your job at cleaning the Marriott in, San Diego. You didn't get $20 million from cleaning the rooms at the Marriott or working at whatever restaurant you worked at. Why isn't anybody asking any questions?
And you know what? That's what people should be outraged about. People should not be outraged about, this is Vanessa Moss's opinion. People are, oh yeah, they're getting all those people in was it Minnesota, all those Somalians there, they're illegal and they're stealing all the money. No, they didn't steal the money. The government has allowed this to occur. Period. The end. So you can't be mad at them for taking advantage of a situation, a legal situation, because anytime I get to the airport and I got $1 million in my suitcase, this your money? Yeah, this my money. No explanation where I got it from. I'm taking it to such and such. And they say, okay, go ahead and handle your business. That is messed up. So listen, we have one of our viewers. I don't know why they won't log on or whatever. They sent a text. That's Mr. Evans. He said the federal government should let all my black brothers out of jail for nonviolent crimes because this is ridiculous. They let them take all that money out the country. No one going to jail or being arrested. That's fucked up.
Mike's right.
Stephanie says
Thank you, Mike.
Stephanie said they legally stole it based on Biden's loopholes. Well, those loopholes was before Biden, Steph. Deborah Harris says, I'm just trying to hear what you're talking about. Angela Beatty, good evening. Felicia, what's up, Fee? Stephanie says, if you're an immigrant, you can move that type of money with no questions. I worked on a forfeiture case and the money was returned from Metro Airport.
Exactly. That's exactly right, Stephanie. And I was involved in some of that. Should we take a break and then get back to that? I want to answer one of Stephanie's questions too. And D. Hughes, thank you, D.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation? The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
We're back, Detroit in Black and White, our Friday evenings edition. Listen. You know what we want you to do. Like, subscribe, share. It costs nothing but a little bit of energy to hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Tell all your friends about the greatest show on these YouTube streets. We also want you to do this. Take advantage of the link. We had somebody take advantage of the link, and he gave an insightful opinion the other night. We want you guys to continue to do that. Yep. And those that are joining us in the comments section, thank you so much. I'm going to go and read the comments and then we can go back. Duela says, good evening. She said, good everything, Vanessa and Jim. Greg Jordan says, I'm sure it went to, he says he's sure it's going to terrorist organizations. Helen says, good evening. Hey, Helen. D. Hughes says, your vice presidential candidate and Kamala's pick, shaking my dang on head. Karen Winston wants to know, how did this happen? 1213 said, paper money doesn't set off the scanners. Miss Sheila said, just like drugs coming into the U.S., the same who's allowed the money to be stole. D asked that Kamala vet him. I think she's talking about Tim Walz. I think it was the Democratic Party that did that. Karen for her. Karen Winston says, our democratic system is set up in such a way that we are taxed. The government is free to do whatever they want with our money.
Feels that way.
Yeah, she want to hook up. She says she is an immigrant. She came from.
That's what I want to talk about.
called Mississippi.
I want to take exception to that, Stephanie, just for a second. You know, a few years ago, I took a motorcycle ride through Mississippi and stopped at this place called Clarksdale, Mississippi. Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil to learn how to play the blues
At the crossroads.
at the crossroads.
Come
And
on now.
Mississippi
Blues.
has
The blues.
the gold that spread through the world out of that little tiny town down there in Clarksdale, and Muddy Waters and B.B. King and Buddy Guy, and I mean the list goes on and on and on. So
What in the world? I had no idea that you like the blues.
so shout out. Let's move on, Stephanie. But the history of you know,
Okay.
that area
Watch the documentary.
I went there. So
Oh, okay.
I rode my
That's-
motorcycle through there, and we were able to go to the Blues Museum. A guy opened the doors for us. We came after hours. 6 motorcycles showed up. He says, let you guys in. We closed 2 hours ago.
okay.
Anyway,
Anyway, we just took a little detour.
yeah, side trip down to Clarksdale, right? D. Hughes says, shout out to Nick Shirley. And, you know, Nick Shirley's just some guy asking questions. Nobody else in Minnesota, nobody else in Ohio said, we just gave you $8 million or $28 million or $100 million. What are you going to do with it? Where's it going? What are you using it for? You have a daycare center? What are you doing with it? So
Right. Jill Sheridan said this story must be breaking news because I pay attention to a lot of news and I've not heard about it yet. It sounds like the verdict is in. Did someone confess to all of this? Well, you have right now, you have some Congress people who are calling for an investigation, and supposedly the FBI and the powers that be are now investigating. But I'm like,
nobody confessed, but they know the money went through because they declared the money. And I'm going to go while you ask that question, Jill. And they're all allegations. Okay. But I'll tell you this: 130 people already in Minnesota. 170 have pled guilty to fraud, multiple fraud counts, and 60 were found guilty. So 130 people have already been adjudicated as guilty in the state of Minnesota tied to the fraud. And we don't know for sure that, well, we do know that $9 billion disappeared, and we do know that $700 million, they know what happened, right? We don't know if it's tied together, but we do know that 130 people have already been found guilty or pled guilty to taking government funds.
and let me say this, those people, they went through the process. It didn't just happen yesterday. We know that the process is a lengthy process. So it happened on Governor Watt's watch, right? While Ellison he's in office, he happened on his watch. So we can't say that they weren't addressing the problem. The fact of the matter is that you have this, I don't even know if it's a loophole. I just think it's purposely, listen, some of us are held to certain standards and some of us, and when I say us, we're citizens of the United States, right? We're held to another standard. That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line.
So they declared $700 million worth of money, Jill. So we do know that because they have the records that indicate that 136 million went from Columbus Airport and 700 million went from the Minneapolis airport. We do know. We don't know if that 136 million went to Minneapolis. They said either went to Minneapolis or it went to Atlanta before it went overseas, because you know the Columbus airport is not a huge airport, but it's a good enough sized airport, but they have connections overseas. They don't go. So good question, Jill. These are U.S. citizens. These are Somalis that are U.S. citizens that became couriers for the money. And in many cases, there was more than, allegations, more than one courier that left. Some people took it from Columbus to Atlanta. Some people took it from Atlanta to maybe Frankfurt, somewhere in Europe. Yeah. And then somebody else may have taken it on to Dubai. They found it, that it, that it originated here, went to Dubai, and they don't know where it went from there. They have no trace of the money from there.
Listen, I'm sorry, I'm fanning. It is hot in here, and I know it's cold outside. I have the heat up too high, and I can't get up and go and turn down the thermostat because we're live. So yes, I'm fanning like a seasoned woman. For all those that are wondering what the heck is going on, I'm sorry, it is burning up in here.
Back to Jill though, and I'm going to let you talk here, Vanessa. I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep you, but somebody said that they hide it. They weren't hiding it. Nobody's hiding anything. I'm not telling you that the people that moved the money did anything illegal. They went to the government and said, "Hey, I'm moving $20 million in 5 suitcases from Columbus, and it's going to Atlanta, or it's going to Minneapolis, then it's going overseas." They didn't hide it. The question is, where did it come from? Who paid taxes on it? And how did they get their hands on it? Because
Well, Jim, you said so. The question is, where did it come from? My thing is, not only where did it come from? How did this happen? How was it able to go through and travel up to these places without nobody paying taxes on it? And again, if my tail was to go to the airport with, I'm not even going to say 50. I'm going to make it $10,000. I'm going to have to answer some questions. That is just insane to me.
Hey, Deborah, thank you for your comment. We're sorry about your late daughter. It's her birthday, and nothing's worse than a mother losing a child, and we're thinking about you. So,
yeah, I want to give a shout out to. We have another person that's watching, Miles. He didn't make a comment. Mr. Duckett says Minnesota dirt gets dug up when the administration has them in their crosshairs. Wonder if the pedo protector can find the toxic dirt across Detroit. Oh,
hello, Mr. Duckett.
right.
He's always got something very clever and
Miss Sheila said it's a private sum of grown women behavior. All right, Miss Sheila. And Stephanie Jackson said, "Oh my Lord, Stephanie, I can't believe you said that Omar took the money on a private jet." Girl, girl.
We're not alleging a criminal act by these Somalis that moved the money. I'm not alleging a criminal act. The question is, where did they get the money?
Yes, where did they get the money? Eric Brown, thanks for joining. He said, "People, these nations are nothing more than a cartel and do nothing but try to out-gangster one another." Wow, that's
a good point, Eric. You know how to use it. You can Eric, put your phone on, come on and look at us and talk to us, or Stephanie, or Miss Sheila, somebody.
Yeah, I agree with him. To me, it sounds no different than somebody's the whole gun thing at one point in time, the drug thing. It's the same. To me, this is just crazy. And the fact that we're talking about this story today, again, for me and for our viewers, it should say, okay, well, this happened with them. How many other times has this happened with other people, with other groups of people? And where in the hell is this money going? Period. Where's it going?
Back to Jill. We're talking about hundreds of different couriers. We're not talking about one or two. We're talking about a year, two, I think 2023 and 2024, 24 months. Yep. There's probably hundreds of couriers that move the money.
Yeah. Deborah says she didn't lose her daughter. It's her birthday today. She has news about the subject you're talking about. Okay.
I'm sorry,
happy
Deborah.
birthday to your daughter.
Yeah, happy birthday to your daughter. You mait me sad. Now I'm happy. Thank you, Deborah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to your daughter.
Right. Power Orcs, thank you for joining us this evening in Gentlemen's Room. Hey, thank you for joining this evening. You got some new people that's joining us this evening. We want you guys to use that link. We don't mind you joining us in the comment section, but we want you to also take advantage of this link. So do we want to move on from this story and talk about something else? Okay, what is it that you want to talk about? I didn't think about anything in particular because there's so much that's going on.
I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
ask you and our viewers this, if I could.
Yes.
You know, we talked. Part of the topic on our Wednesday show was, are the Democrats in trouble in Michigan, and are the Democrats in trouble across the country? We all know that for every midterm election, usually it's a bloodbath for the other party,
Mhm.
right? But here's the issue in this election. I want to ask our viewers. I don't know the answer, but when you have Tim Walz and you have Liz Warren saying that the Democrats are not, liberal enough, Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, and now Mondani is the new czar of New York City. Are they going to help the Democrats in 2026, or are they going to hurt the Democrats in 2026? I don't know the answer, but Liz Warren going on TV saying we're not liberal enough and we need to listen to the liberal wing of our party more. I just think that's a dangerous strategy.
Listen. I think it is a very dangerous strategy, and I'm going to come from a different place. I think, and I said this the other day, I think the extreme of both is dangerous for our country. Okay, and so I think people take offense that how dare you tell me if I live in a community and I see the ills of my community, how dare you tell me up here at the top that these should be the issues that I should pay attention to, and these are the issues that I should support. For instance, we had a hot topic the other day when we were talking about the ICE agents, and you have people feeling all certain kinds of ways. And I don't know, there were some viewers who talked about how, Black people are not, uh, not getting in the fight. And there are people I know who say, listen, not my show, not my fight, not my pony, not my circus. I'm not getting involved. Okay. I'm not going to no protests. I'm not talking about how you need to stop ICE. First of all, this agency has been, how long has ICE been in existence? I don't know, but
2002.
okay, a very long time. Where don't tell me, and these are Black people that I've talked to who said, listen, they voted for this. This is what they want. I'm not getting involved. And I have a problem with somebody telling me, well, no, you should pay attention to this. So the question is from you is this too far? I think on both ends is too far. I think most Americans are in the middle of the road. Those that are extreme, they have extreme personalities as far as I'm concerned,
And
But
there's a point right there, gentlemen's room.
yeah,
That's exactly the question that the senator asked the
they have
lady
extreme personalities
8
as far as I'm
times.
concerned,
8 times
But-
if a man can get pregnant. And
gentlemen's room.
turn that down a
That's
little bit.
exactly the
Yeah, Eric.
Yeah, I've never seen a man get pregnant. I know I'm an old timer, I guess, but I don't know how I get pregnant. If you ask me personally, if there's a way.
The issue, and see, the people get offended when you tell the truth. If you are
I
a
don't know how I get
woman
pregnant.
and you identify as a man, yes, the woman who says she's a man can get pregnant.
Correct.
But a man who identifies as a woman cannot get pregnant. And you can't tell me that I have to jump on board with this program because my intellect tells me that is an impossibility. Period. And so when you see things like a few years ago, we saw some woman on the front of a woman who identified, because I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all, a woman who identified as a man, and you had on there the first pregnant man. In my opinion, that's very misleading. Because when you pull back the layer, you it's like, oh no, this is a woman who identifies as a man, who says, listen, this is how I feel. And if you want to respect that, that's fine. But don't tell me I need to adopt that agenda, especially when in my community, I'm just saying, this is what I hear in my community. We have kids who can't even get to damn school. We have kids who can't even read. We have people who don't have heat. We have people who don't have water. And you telling me that I need to be concerned about this? You telling me that you spending money because somebody that's sitting in prison decides that they want to be a different sex, that our government dollars can go to spending that? Our government dollars should go to spending that. That's the agenda I should have done. That's just insane. It's insulting.
Where did our fellow co-host Eric go? Eric, come back.
Yeah,
maybe Teresa can help him get on with whichever way.
Right.
So Deborah Harris, cisgender men or anyone born without a uterus and ovaries cannot become pregnant. However, transgender men and other gender nonconforming people may have become pregnant if they had a uterus and ovaries. Gender affirming care such as hormone therapy or surgery may affect the possibility and safety of pregnancy. This isn't about what you want to be in life.
Right.
You know, this was a scientific question. I don't have any. This is a free country. You want to be a man and you're a woman. You want to be a woman and you're a man. I have no problem with that. If you were born in the wrong body, by all means, do what you want to do. But I don't know how the lady on TV in front of Congress said she was confused by the question. I don't know. If a man can have a baby, I want to see it. As Deborah Harris just eloquently told us. A man without the right parts can have a baby. It's
and I think that when you get into the politics of it all, I think that enrages people because you have people who say, and they're in their feelings. Well, that means that you don't like, cisgender, transgender, and all. No. No.
not at all.
For a party to tell individuals that. I remember some years ago I was running for office and a lady told me, she said, you know what, you're a very nice, intelligent young lady and I really like you. She said the only reason I'm not supporting such and such party is because she had one issue. She said, because, I don't believe in her issue was, I don't believe in abortion. Okay. So her point was, how dare a party tell me that I have to believe in this in order to be a part of that party, basically, to adopt that agenda. And for me, it's always conflicting because you can't raise your children and tell your family to be independent thinkers. You're a unique person. But then when it comes to this, you got to follow the band and their whole agenda. And I'm talking about people on both sides. Let's be clear. I'm talking about people on both sides. That brings me to, maybe that's why some people have said, you know what? I'm not doing that no more. It's really about who I am and how I really see it. Some days I may look at things the way that Jim look at it. And some days I may look at some issues. I may look at it the way that Vanessa looks at it. So you know what? Support me as an individual, not as a member of such and such party. Maybe that's why we're beginning to see that.
I think that's a great point. That's a great point, Vanessa. I spent 28 years in law enforcement. I typically support law enforcement. I have some biases towards it. I'm not going to tell you that I don't. Mm-hmm. I don't agree, as Mr. Duckett pointed out, with police or federal agents or anybody out there wearing masks. I think that goes against what the Constitution against what the United States of America is. All right. If you're on a drug raid and you need to, it's a different situation, but to be out there serving the general public with a mask, I'm completely against that. D. Hughes said, you want a sex change, pay for it. All right. I will tell you this, D, and I will tell everybody else on this show this, and I'll leave it at this. I don't think a guy that's a man that committed murder that wants to transition to a woman so he can get put in a woman's jail for the rest of his life with your tax dollars, completely against it. I'm completely against that. It's a man that committed murder that wants to transition to a woman so he can get put in a woman's jail for the rest of his life with your tax dollars, completely against it. I'm completely against that. What's up, Eric?
Right.
What's up, Eric? Talk to us.
Well, Miss Sheila says, forget about a group way of thinking. Absolutely. My parents didn't raise me to be a group thinker. Now, I will say, and I've been very transparent about this, if I have to pick a
You can
side,
hear me?
well, Miss Sheila we can hear you. Well, I can also hear me echoing. My parents didn't raise me to be a group thinker. Now, I will say, and I've been very.
There we go.
If I have to
No.
pick a side, listen, I don't like hearing my voice. That's how I sound. Ugh.
You sound great. Deborah, what do you think? She sound good? Stephanie?
If I have to pick a side, I'm saying if I'm forced to pick a party, it's going to be the D as opposed to an R. But realistically, I'm an I. I think for myself. I have always told people, listen, I'm not one of those people who take, and I have no problem with people who do that. Take the ballot and I circle the oval at the top and vote straight ticket. I've never been that person. I read everything on the ballot. I read every name on the ballot because as we see, not everything or everyone that we think is a certain way is a certain way. They're all individuals.
Thank you, David.
They're all individuals. They're all independent. So that's why I always tell people, vote for the person. And by the way, somebody asked last week when Adolph announced that I'm running for the Wayne County Probate Court, and I had not really announced yet, formally announced. Someone asked in the comment section if I'm running as a Democrat. When you run for judge, you can't run from a Democrat and run as a Democrat or a Republican. It's bipartisan. It's no party affiliation whatsoever. But if you want to ask me any questions, I will tell you this is where I stand on this issue. This is where I stand on that issue. But as a judge, you have to follow the law.
And you made a comment earlier, Vanessa, about somebody being against a certain party for abortion or, whatever it is, gun control or whatever. I can tell you this right now. The last few elections I voted in, I want a 50%. I want to agree with them 50%, and they might get my support, whether they're Democrat or Republican or independent, right? I may disagree with Gretchen Whitmer on a lot of things, but I think she may, I may like her enough to not like the other person that's running.
Right. Absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
So I don't need a 90 percentile to vote for somebody. Exactly. I need at least a 50. Stephanie Jackson said immigration is a different type of law enforcement. Thank you, Stephanie. And David Porter, thank you for your comment on taxation. I will just say this, Stephanie. What a lot of people don't really understand is it's like, and I'll just use this, it's a bad example, but I'm going to use it anyways. It's like people eat sausage, but they don't want to walk into a sausage factory, right? See how sausage is made, all right? People don't really want to see how law enforcement is executed on the streets of this country. It's a lot different than what you see on Cops or what you see on whatever show you watch. It's not ugly. It's dangerous. It's deadly. The question is, are we better off enforcing immigration law, or are we better off not enforcing immigration law? So that's a great question, but there's people out there, immigrants, illegal immigrants that are hurting and killing people out there too.
Right. We're gonna go to Eric. Can we go to a commercial because we're at 9:14? Can we go for a break and then we'll come back and we'll come to Eric?
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
We're back, Detroit Black and White, our Friday evenings edition. We have someone that has joined us, Eric Brown of Detroit Black and White Reality Strikes. Hey, Eric, what do you want to say?
Well, I want to piggyback on the one lady that was on before Congress. I'm not sure if it was before Congress or Senate, and her lack of, and she's a doctor, her lack of and willingness to explain whether or not a man can have a baby, they should have just told her to get the fuck out the room. Because that back and forth, I mean, I agree with the senator. The guy that was asking her, he said, I'm asking you one simple question, yes or no. She kept hemming and hawing. They should have just excused her from the damn hearing.
But you know what, Eric? The hemming and hawing says to me that you want to have the right answer for whatever group you're representing.
There's only one answer for that question. There's only one. I don't give a damn if...
As opposed to the truth.
I don't give a damn if she was representing the muff kisses of the world. At the end of the day, there's only one answer to that question. Can a man have a baby? Can a man conceive a baby? He asked it 10 different ways. She kept hemming and hawing. I would not have asked more than 3 times before I asked the security sergeant at arms to get the fuck out of the room.
Lord have mercy. Okay. We heard what Eric had to say.
That was ridiculous. I mean, it went on for over 5 minutes.
Wow.
Gentlemen, Jim.
Then she had the nerve to re-ask the question by saying, let me make sure I'm understanding your question. Well, God damn it, can a man have a baby? It was embarrassing. And she's representing, first of all, the Democrats should be embarrassed, and any transgender should be embarrassed as well, because they know they can't have babies.
Well, I don't know, because you have some people who say I'm telling you, there are people who are offended if you say something other than if you say a man cannot have a baby, they are offended. So I say the question maybe should have been, can someone who was born a male, who identifies themselves as a man, have or give birth to a child?
Nope. I wouldn't even ask that. I would have asked 2 different questions. Can a goddamn man go through menopause, or can a man have a damn period? 2 questions. Boom. Neither one a man can have. And had she him and hauled on that, I would have asked her to be arrested, put handcuffs on her ass, and escort her out.
Mercy. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay.
Thank you, Eric. Let's go back to our colleagues real quick. Biology is biology. D. Hughes. Mr. Eric said what he said. Ms. Sheila, 2129. Thank you, Ms. Sheila. Enforcing U.S. immigration laws. Yes, enforce immigration laws or your home will be overrun. D. Hughes, thank you. Jim, did you like Charles Pugh? I don't really understand the context. I think Charles Pugh was convicted of, generally speaking, I don't want to talk about Mr. Pugh because I'm not that familiar with him or his case, but I will tell you this. People make mistakes in the criminal justice system, whether it's an armed robbery, sometimes even a murder, and they can be cured of the crime. I have not seen an example of somebody that, whether it's Timothy Busfield or these people are career criminals, they're career pedophiles, and generally speaking, there's no curing them. That's why they did things to them, 100, 200 years ago to make sure they never did it again. I don't agree with that. But I'm just telling you, they typically don't change their ways if they're a pedophile at 17 or a pedophile at 87. So,
and what them called Deborah Harris makes a good point, because you had who is now a Supreme Court justice during her confirmation hearing. She was asked about whether or not men can have babies, and she hemmed and hawed. And this is who you have on the Supreme Court for a lifetime appointment.
Well, Mr. 1213 says many teachers face a dilemma of addressing their pupils in grade school by what sex the pupil feel like they are instead of addressing them what they actually are. It really is a big deal. I had a particular case where the young lady identified as a boy, and she wanted everyone to call her by the name that she selected and everything. The problem was, and she wanted to start hormone therapy, if you will, because she wanted to, start transitioning. problem was she was a delinquent, and she wanted the court to have her mom agree to her getting this stuff done, and the mother was like, absolutely, positively not. And I had to agree. Listen, the mother has parental rights. Her rights have not been terminated. You are a child. And I understand you have these feelings inside, and I understand that you identify this way. But no one can make you and ask while you're in placement, ask them to give you this on the taxpayer dime, or that have your mother agree and make your mother feel some kind of way because she doesn't look at things the way that you do. So I can imagine teachers are really struggling with this issue. We also have David Porter says, Mr. 1213, yes, taxing liquor and weed is done through the state. I don't know exactly what they were.
Detroit taxes, they have an income tax, but other than that, they're talking about a tax on tickets. There's money from the casinos. Detroit's a little different.
That hasn't gone through yet, though, has it, Jim? They haven't approved it yet.
No, it hasn't. My point is, typically these cities don't tax people that way for additional sales tax or whatever. But Detroit's a little unique when it comes to that.
And Deborah Harris, right again, she talks about, even when I was in, I'm sure the same can be said for both of you. When I was in K through 12, you didn't hear no damn kids talking about being other than anything than what we saw them as, a girl or a boy.
Thank you, DeBragg, too. 921, a rapist can't change early. Can't change either. Call them by names, not pronouns. Stephanie, Erica standing on business. Thank you, David Porter. Can B have babies?
So D. Hughes, I want to address D. Hughes. They said, why not pick a side that represents your interests? Well, as individuals, we have different kind of interests. That's why I go down the ticket and vote for the person, not for that. I vote for that side, not necessarily, hey, I'm going to vote all Democrat, or hey, I'm going to vote all Republican, or hey, I'm going to vote all independent. No, I vote for what I believe in.
And no one side represents a certain interest. I mean, exactly. There are Democrats with, well, first of all, you have both Republicans and Democrats that just follow along. It don't matter to them. They just vote D, they just vote R in committee, and when it comes down to a vote on a bill, and that's at the state level and the federal level. So their interest, let's be real, the only interest of a politician, be an R or D, is to get a vote. That's the only interest. They don't even believe some of the shit that they part. That's why I could not be a politician, because I could not be in Lansing or DC and just voting along party lines when I know it's bullshit. Look at the pork barrels. The pork bellies within some of these bills that get passed when they pass the budgets. Why should I vote for Nebraska getting additional money to raise horses? That's not my interest. I live in Michigan. Why I give a damn about horses being raised?
Michigan has open primaries, right? I guess they're open primaries. I guess that's right, Jill.
No, they don't have open primaries. You got to declare. You got to declare.
You got to declare a party. That's
so
right. That's not open. Yeah, unless you run as an independent.
Right. I think what you're saying, Eric, is basically what I was saying. How dare you tell me as an individual that I have to, or my community has to support this big tent's agenda when that is not my community's issue. Okay.
It's not just it's just not the ticket agenda. It's also the interest. You can't tell me what my interests are and that my interests align with everything that the Democrats have, or my interests align with everything that the Republicans have. You just can't. Who are you to tell me?
The point I was making earlier, Eric.
Who are you to tell me?
Get to 80 or 90%.
Absolutely.
You're not going to get to 80% on the person you agree with. If you get to 60, you're doing pretty good. Will Coleman, young junior, run for mayor again? I don't think so, gentlemen's room. Not in the near future. I think that if everything goes well, I think the current mayor will be locked in for a while.
Oh,
I vote policy and integrity, Miss Sheila D. Hughes.
A while being one term, is that what you consider a while?
Oh,
what'd
what?
you say, Eric?
I'll say a while being one term.
Well, we'll see. I guess she's got to stand for election again if she wants to run a second time. D. Hughes closed the door on our men having babies argument. Thank you, D. Thank you for closing that door for us.
Yeah.
And the streets of Detroit clear of snow and ice? Who is responsible for the streets to be clear? That would be the city, I believe. And
they not. I just came from Detroit. They're not cleared of. The neighborhoods are not cleared of snow and ice.
How was the freeway?
But the freeway is fine.
Okay, great.
I mean, I was at a church just off Evergreen, and Evergreen was fine. But when you get to the parking lot behind the church, you gotta go down to neighborhood streets, and they were terrible.
Right. Stephanie Jackson says she totally messed up a pleading in a custody case when the mother became a man.
Oh,
and
wow.
the father became the mother.
yikes.
Hold on, what? I totally messed up pleading in a custody case when the mother became a man and the father became the mother.
Yes.
Go ahead, Eric. Address that. I'll give it to you.
No, I'm not. Isn't it?
Yeah, that's a tongue twister there. David Porter points out the primary is open. You don't have.
I imagine representing those individuals, whatever side you're on.
No, David, you have to declare a party in the primary. You're going to vote Democrat or Republican in the primary for the governor and the president.
I think that's kind of confusing.
Right.
To me, it's confusing. Anybody can run in a primary, but they have to declare a party.
Oh, you know what? In some instances, people will say, "Hey, vote in the primary and vote for the opposite party that you don't support because you want this particular person to race so that they can lose." I mean,
right. That's how you got Jeffrey Feiger in the general election one year.
And that's why it's unique this year because you have an independent running, and who knows what the people that are supporting the independent in the general are going to be voting in the primary. They might try to oust one of the other candidates, right? They might vote for Mike Cox so they don't have to run against John James. We don't know. We don't know what the strategy is, but it's not like it used to be. People would go and vote for who they believed in, regardless of who they were. Now there's so much silly stuff. They might vote for, whoever to prevent whoever from. I don't want to mention names, but
no, Gabriella will not be a problem for the mayor. Gabriella was endorsed by the mayor.
So they must feel like they know some information that, of course, we don't know. But, we will see. I think that Michigan is in for a rude awakening. I read in the Bridge today that we are, I think it was 1.1 might be $1 billion short in the budget. And so there's going to be we're going to have to do the tightening of the belt in the next year. So this is going to be interesting because that affects the state of Michigan. And of course, Detroit is in the state of Michigan. So we're going to see what happens here in the next year or so. I think we predicted before that things are going to be real different for our new mayor in the city of Detroit.
It's going to be different.
The monetary landscape is very different. But I want her to be successful because I want the city to be successful. The city is successful. The state of Michigan looks good.
I
so
agree with that.
I want things. I really want things to work out. So
here's a topic for next Wednesday for you all because I already have my platform for this upcoming Monday. So a recent poll came out. 40% of students in Michigan are not proficient in reading. That's all across the whole state, 40%. But on the flip side of that, the teachers have an 84% approval rating. So if they're not teaching, how the hell they're rating so high?
That's a great question.
Yeah, well,
that makes no sense.
Right.
So Deborah Harris said she was mad when Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson couldn't define the word woman. Well, that's clear, Deborah, that she was playing politics, and
She's playing politics. You know, the Democrats had the power. I mean, she's playing politics.
And it's unfortunate because the Supreme Court should stay out of that. And that goes for all of them. That goes for the ones on the right, the ones in the middle, and the ones on the left. Their job isn't to play politics.
Right. Well, it is 9:30. We've had a spirited conversation. I'm sorry nobody joined us on camera except for Eric, but we expect for you to come back tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Join Detroit in Black and White.
Let me answer gentleman's room question right quick. No, she endorsed Gabriella.
Eric, hold on. Let me finish. We want you to join us tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. You can join us in the comment section. You can also use the link, Detroit in Black and White. We're going to let Eric make his last comment, and we will see you guys tomorrow morning. Go ahead, Eric.
Thanks, Dominique, too, for your comment. You're right on. Who gives a damn?
Stephanie, Jill, everybody. Oh, somebody said, Eric, you must stay at the Leland house. Go ahead, Eric.
That was somebody trying to be Dave Chappelle, I guess. Trying to crack it funny.
It was funny.
Who gives a damn about somebody getting offended over the truth? Dominique,
right.
Go ahead. That's a story that we need to work with. Go ahead, Eric.
No, I just want to, address, the person. No, she endorsed Gabriella. Matter of fact, she endorsed Gabriella with the support of actually one of the topics, sanctuary cities, that Detroit is not going to be rude to the immigrants. And that's why she endorsed Gabriella.
So, okay. All right. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Thank you, Eric, for joining. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the greatest show on these YouTube streets. Helen, I want you to join us tomorrow morning.
We missed Helen.
Oh, I want to see
Helen.
I want to see her face and hear her voice. All right. Bye.